an amendment at another committee, so I missed Chairman DeFazio, but I got a briefing on very quickly about what he had raised. So I just want to continue, Mr. Batory. Do you think there are safety implications with respect to implication of PSR?
Let me share this with you, because I meet with the regional leadership throughout the United States, as well as the individual inspectors that they're assigned to those regions. One of the things that I have said to them, and I will say to you, do not get distracted by PSR. Our PSR is our CFR. This is what we do good. And the railroads are obligated to make sure that they comply with everything that's in this book. Things that are not in this book gives them the liberty to operate and maintain a railroad of their choosing, which is nothing new. Now, if you like to, and Chairman DeFazio didn't have a chance to allow me to give you my opinion about PSR, I'm more than willing to give it to you.
Go right ahead. Go ahead and start.
All right. First of all, the words are magnetic. It's a railroad, it schedules, it's precision. It attracts people. It is also a soundbite. I knew the author. I worked with him very closely in the late 80s and throughout the late 90s.
All right, but I want to hear specifically what is happening.
Here's all PSR is Railroading 101. It's lessons learned, put in a book with a fancy cover on it that says Precision Scheduled Railroading. Here's the issue with it. When you have something of that nature, and it depends on the property in which you are leading, you can go in there and address that railroad with an axe and a saw, and you're going to have collateral damage, and with that collateral damage will be some draconian actions. Or you can also apply everything that's in that book very methodically, deliberately, and you will get sustainability out of it.
Well, my concern is what I am hearing. First of all, we know that there's been 16% cut in workers. What you need to be doing is making sure that the safety is still there, and I understand that. And so that's the question. Are there any safety concerns with this? You know,
Yes.
maybe there's not, but that is one of the things that you need to be looking at and considering and making sure that we maintain safe working situation for the workers and for the communities with the railroads.
Thank you, Chairman, and I realize that. And with that, at least since I've been in this position, fiscal year 17 versus 18, the inspection reports among the FRA inspectors are up. Observations are up. Inspection days are up. The number of defect violations and associated fines are down. So that tells me, by looking at this, and the inspectors that are using this to do their job every day, that the men and the women that lead, maintain, and operate America's railroads are doing what they're supposed to do. I do not follow employment levels, but in preparation for this, I do understand that the train and engineman employment count is up 3% over last year.
All right. In regard to data collection for block crossings, will you commit to improve the FRA's data collection on this?
Yes.
Sound like you hesitated there.
Well, as you know, we had a discussion in your office, and have a third of my railroad career was in the Chicago area. So I'm very familiar with what you are faced and some of your colleagues are faced throughout the United States. I struggled with it at first after I left your office, and I asked our staff, I said, tell me what you have in the way of factual data. So they put together 2 years of data. Now visualize this, with 130,000 road crossings, nearly 200 million registered vehicles. We only came up with less than 900 complaints. Now, I'm not saying the complaints aren't out there, But that's what little data we had. Your phone rings off the hook. You get letters all
See,
the
I have 900 complaints in my office
Exactly. So that's
in
when,
a year easily.
So that's when I sat in a staff meeting with our folks one Tuesday morning, and I said, what would happen if we created 2 portals in our website, and when actually, if it's approved, we have to disseminate it, make everybody aware of it, one for the general public and one for law enforcement. But we've got to get some factual data concerning this subject matter. So as a result, we filed with the Federal Register in the spirit of the Paper Reduction Act, trying to seek approval to create these 2 portals. I'm encouraged by it. It needs to be done. They tell me it might be a Christmas present this year, okay, when we get authority to do it. But that's the first step. And prior to doing that, I also took the time to write a lengthy letter to all the CEOs of conglomerates of short lines and regionals and all the Class 1s, telling them that they have to heighten their awareness on this subject matter. And this is nothing new to any of them. But keep in mind, if no one reports it, insofar as the railroad, you don't know what you have going on. And the only thing an engineer and conductor has anymore is a telemetry device on the train that tells them how long that train is, linear feet-wise. And based on their knowledge of line characteristics, they're supposed to know, okay, if they're blocking some road crossings. And then the other part of it is, we find ourselves with this increase in registered vehicles over the last 25, 30 years. And
Okay,
then,
I'm almost 2 minutes over, so I'm gonna,
Okay.
we could come back to this, but I'm gonna cut myself off. So I will now recognize Mr. Perry for 5 minutes.